Hey Papa, have you heard about the new XCOM game?
Yeah, I've actually been playing it. It's crazy that it's 50% off during its launch. That's nuts.
Man, because of the price, I think it's a good time for you to review it. Comprende?
I mean, yeah, that was my plan all along. By the way, what are you doing with that chair in your hand?
Well, you know, I brought this chair because I was thinking you and I can do a review together. You know, something like Tío and Mijo. Comprende?
Nope, get the hell out of here. I'm still not happy that 50 Blades of Grey owns half the channel because of you.
Man, why you gotta be so hateful toward that man? All he's done for you is nothing but good. Think about it. The man allows you to work from home in these conditions. Comprende?
Dude, I'm always working from home. When am I not? You know what? I don't want to argue with you on this. If you really want to review, if it's really a desire you need to fulfill, then just go ahead. You can review this game with me, but honestly, I highly doubt you have anything knowledgeable to say. Hold on. You're gonna have to sit there. I don't want you close to me.
Okay, that's fine. It's your channel after all, Papa.
So yeah, XCOM Chimera Squad is a spin-off game from the rebooted XCOM series. It's surprising that I haven't reviewed any XCOM game yet on this channel since I have played a solid amount of the entries, both new and old. I also still wish XCOM Alliance happened. The trailer looked awesome for that, but oh well. But back on track. This game takes place about 5 years after the events of XCOM 2, as humans and aliens are living together. Instead of stopping another invasion, it is now focused on a singular location, City 31. Being far more narrative focused than the main entries, is this game worthy of bearing the XCOM name, or should we just stick with the main series? Either way, I'm ready to dive in and see if it's worth buying at $9.99. This is XCOM Chimera Squad.
Cue the montage, Papa.
That was actually pretty good. Good job, Uncle Ramon.
Oh, thank you, Papa. Now, let's get the review started. Comprende?
Sounds good to me. Anyways, you start off with the game and you can select your difficulty and turn on Iron Man mode and the tutorial. And I get a lot of you would say that there's only one way to play the game on Impossible and with Iron Man mode turned on, but come on guys, not everybody wants to play that way.
You know, I really don't like that mentality, Papa. Everyone should be accepted regardless of their skill level, because at the end of the day, we are gamers just trying to have a good time. Comprende?
I agree. We seem to be on the same page a lot today.
Man, why are you surprised? We are family after all.
Well, it's just... Anyways, after that, you're greeted with a cutscene showing some Saturday morning cartoon / comic book art style. It isn't impressive on a technical level since it's just still images, but it fits the tone and atmosphere of the game, which is much more lighthearted than the mainline series. You are then thrusted into the mission and the tutorial begins. The way each mission is handled is that it contains encounters, up to 3. Before each encounter, you enter breach mode where you line up your characters. Depending on the character and equipment, you can have a variety of ways to enter at your disposal. Having an agent who can hack will have you open locked doors, while breaching charges have you burst through new openings. Once the areas have been breached, you can take out enemies or take cover. Other abilities can be used depending on the character. Be careful though, since some entryways can leave your characters vulnerable, so tactical planning is required. Breaches are easily the most interesting part of the game's combat, and what I enjoyed the most from it. I enjoyed them much more in the mid-game once your characters gain access to better equipment and new abilities, which allows for more tactical options. Even in the late game when things started to get repetitive, this was still a highlight for me.
Man, those were so much fun, Papa. Remember when we had to do one together? Okay, Papa, you remember the plan?
Yeah, I got the plan, but shouldn't we be wearing armor or something?
Well, I mean, it will help, but remember, we have the element of surprise, so I don't think that's gonna be a problem. Comprende?
I guess so. Fair enough. Let's just get this over with.
Man, those were the good old days.
Dude, that never happened. And what were you doing with Uncle Escobar's gun anyway?
Oh, it's just he let me borrow it for the weekend. Comprende?
Ugh. Anyways, The rest of your combat is pretty standard modern XCOM fare with the 2 action system, the cover system, etc, etc. Nothing XCOM fans haven't seen before, but it still is effective, although character turns are similar to how they operate in Divinity Original Sin 2, with character turns instead of one side having their units take all their actions at once. Let me know if what I said makes sense. If not, just go play Divinity Original Sin 2.
It makes sense to me, Papa.
The game also encourages you to take out enemies by subduing them with a non-lethal melee attack. This arrests the enemy and increases the chance of you to gain intel, one of the 3 currencies in the game. More on the base management side later. Downed agents are handled a bit differently here as well. Basically, permadeath is removed. When an agent is down, they have to be stabilized to prevent bleeding out and prematurely ending your game. However, downed agents earn scars that hinder them in various ways. This includes less health, less accuracy, less mobility, less dodge, etc, etc. The only way to remove these scars is through training, so think of it like a physical therapy.
Speaking of being physical, Papa, we should all go outside and get some sun, especially if you are Dominican, because we are people of the sun. Comprende?
During a mission, down agents can be replaced by these androids who can also be outfitted with various mods in between missions. They may not be as good early on, but can help as a temporary replacement. So that was the combat side of things, but what about the management side? As expected, it is much more simplified and stripped down compared to previous entries. You pick the faction you plan on investigating, research new equipment, buy equipment, train soldiers, run special ops on the side, pick a mission, equip your squad, then head out to battle. After certain points of the game, you'll have the ability to bring in another member of the Chimera Squad. Since this is an experiment combining both aliens and humans, you have a nice variety of agents to choose from. I recommend you choose wisely, since an agent who you end up not liking will quickly end up in the background and you'll have to wait for another opportunity. Dark events will also occur throughout the story as you get closer to taking down each faction. They are basically enemy buffs. Some of these can be annoying, but nothing too difficult to handle.
Hey, but don't forget about the district management, Papa. Each district in the city can build panic, and if you feel to the top, then it increases your city anarchy meter. This can be handled with completing missions and investigations. You fail the game if your anarchy meter feels all the way to the top. Comprende? Honestly, Papa, a good chancleta to the head could keep a lot of people in line. Comprende?
Right. You can also unlock abilities to help you with this as you build investigation teams and level up. Missions and teams can add one of 3 currencies, Intel, Elerium, and that cash money, boy! All have their uses. Elerium is used for research purposes, cash to buy supplies, and intel for upgrading your team and buying stuff at a secret shop. Speaking of research, it's so freaking weird how you need to buy the equipment after researching things like better armor and weapons. I get it for your utility items, but for automatic upgrades to armor and weapons, it just feels weird. Early on, I was surprised how much this game was kicking my ass. I couldn't walk away from a mission without one of my agents being scarred. Not sure if it was because of the faction I decided to go after first, but these scenarios felt like endurances with how little health I had and how limited your squad is early on. You are under-equipped versus your enemies, which makes no sense given the context of this game. But like many of the modern XCOM titles, the mid and especially late game becomes too easy on normal with far superior armor and weapons, not to mention some pretty overpowered abilities.
But listen, Papa, that problem is also with the original series. It has been an issue along with the lack of Hispanic representation. Comprende?
Dude, that was fixing XCOM Enemy Within with Spanish voice options, so get out of here. Back to the story, which has been given a much larger focus this time around. I won't spoil anything here, but the story itself is enjoyable enough. The focus is on one city and all your units are pre-made with their own backstory, quirks, and playstyle. While it isn't entirely engaging, it doesn't take itself too seriously, even with all the violence going on.
I don't know about you, Papa, but I would rather watch my mom's novelas again, especially Yo Soy Betty La Fea. And I do mean the original, not the one for Los Blancos, comprende?
For the cast of characters, they're alright. My personal favorite is Terminal for being a badass medic that refuses to go down. Plus, she came off as the most lighthearted of the bunch. And also, shout out to Pow3rh for not giving a damn. She's one of those snake aliens and became a regular for her ability to bind enemies. Really neat stuff, but she really seems like she would rather be anywhere else. But I don't know, man, I really wanted to get more invested in these characters. I wish it was on the level of Silent Storm on how everyone felt so alive and memorable. I mean, remember the Russian snipers and All Dusted Over from Silent Storm? That woman was a freaking monster. I swear, her voice, mannerism, and everything, you honestly believe that she could take your life away with a heartbeat.
Exactly, Papa. She's like a lethal dose of poison. One hit, and it will take your life away completely. Comprende?
It definitely isn't from a lack of trying. There's plenty of banter in and out of missions, character bios, and even unique dialogue for characters on certain missions. It's just the execution is okay for the most part. A big part of it to me, I believe, is the voice acting. The voices from these aliens seem so out of place and a bit too human for me, if that makes sense. I mean, you got freaking Zephyr over here with an Australian accent. Unfortunately, the humans don't fare much better. I'm not sure if I should blame it on the writing or just the lack of direction here, but most characters say things that don't sound natural, especially the jokes. For the rest of it, the graphics are par for the course for these games, albeit a bit uninspired. The soundtrack is also unimpressive. This game is also with its share of glitches. Many are graphical, but I did have my hard crashes, especially if I played for too long. Hopefully this all gets patched up. Aesthetic customization is also lacking. All you can really do this time around is change the color of the armor, which doesn't change as you get better armor. I also have to address the elephant in the room, but this game requires an online connection when playing. So if you're out and about on your laptop with no access to Wi-Fi, you're screwed. There's apparently a workaround for this, but the fact that you need to for a single player game is just baffling.
Man, remember back in the day when you could just put a game in and play without an internet connection? Man, those were the good old days.
I once again agree with you, surprisingly, and like I said, there is no multiplayer to speak of. This was obviously made to be single player and more narrative focused than its counterparts. Even without it, the game is still content rich considering the price point. You'll get about 20 hours of it. Overall, I would say this game is worth it, but definitely has its flaws. While nothing about this game is revolutionary, I did enjoy what was on offer. The combat is familiar, but works well enough, especially with the new breach mechanic. The late game suffers a bit on normal difficulty, but harder difficulties will definitely challenge you. Team management isn't as complex, but it offers its own challenges. Hopefully the glitches can be patched up for a smoother experience and possibly no internet connection, and we'll be good to go. I can easily recommend this to fans of the XCOM series. If you're not really into turn-based strategy games or into XCOM, this won't change your mind. Any last words, Uncle Ramon? This dude drives me nuts. The hell?
Hey, Papa, I found some brown paper and wrapped myself into it. I made a game out of it. You wanna play?
No, I'd rather stick with my video games. I'll at least have fun with that.
Man, why you gotta be like that? At least give it a try. Just look.
Anyways, thank you guys for watching as always. Hope everyone is staying safe. And this is Pow3rh0use signing off.